Get ready. It's going to be a very, very intense journey. Begin.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 112 of Frameskip, a video game podcast. This is going to be a weird one, I'm not going to lie. Elijah taking a break from the show. Austin underwater at work. Coach. Not literally. Yeah. I forgot about the hurricane. God damn. Well, he's in Atlanta, so it's close.
Yeah.
That was a poor choice of expressions there. Sorry.
Coach. Come out 6 years from now. Nobody would know.
That's a good point. Coach is probably biking somewhere or lifting something heavy, and Seth, God knows what Seth is doing right now. So I'm here, George, in Studio H, and bringing back an old favorite of mine. Got Fabio here.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Fabio. If you listen to this show, you might also listen to Shortbox Summary. Fabio is a pretty regular co-host over there, and also I think you've done one episode of Frameskip in the past, like right when the PlayStation 5 came out.
Yeah.
God, I just missed your voice. I'm incredibly thrilled to have you back. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me tonight. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Fabio, what have you been playing lately?
The Modern Warfare 2 beta just ended, but I put like an obscene amount of time into it. It's not like very much will transfer over from it, but I did, like, even after finishing out the pass on like the progression in the beta, I was still played the shit out of it. Like I played it like too much. So that was like my last 2 weeks. That's all I've been playing. And then lately, last night, I just popped on Fallout 4, and I've just been playing that again. That's it. That's like the only thing I've been interested in.
Why Fallout 4?
So not too long ago, I played Fallout New Vegas for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the way through for the first time. And absolutely loved it. I thought it was like one of the smartest games I've ever played, with all its stupidity. I think it's just a really interesting way to like create like mission structure and character structures. And so, yeah, I had never finished Fallout 4 just because I think it was too depressing at the time.
Sure.
And started playing it tonight and realized how much more depressing. I'm just going to tell you this quick spoiler because it's amazing, and I thought it was such an interesting moment in Fallout that I'd never noticed before. There was I was walking towards this mission, and I hear this voice crying out, and it's coming from a refrigerator, and you can like leave that person in there that's asking you to open it because you don't trust them, or you can open it, or you just walk away, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I chose to help out, and I realized it's like this very small child ghoul that has been stuck in there since like the atomic or the nuclear bombs hit. So he's just been stuck in this fridge for like hundreds of years. And
Jesus, wait, ghouls live that long?
Yeah, ghouls don't. They're like pretty much they can live forever until like unless they're killed. But
gotcha.
Yeah. So he had been stuck in there for just years, and then you have the mission to take him back to his family, and you can like, I told the kid like, yeah, your family's probably dead, but then we got there and his family was alive, and it was beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
Very sad. Yeah. So Fallout's a great game, and like it's what I love about it is just that like no matter how many hours you put into it, there's always something else to find. I was harsh on Fallout 4, but it's coming around on me now.
Also, one thing that's cool about Fallout 4 is in my personal headcanon, that game takes place like in Boston and you're at Fenway Park. And that version of the Red Sox didn't trade away Mookie Betts for pennies on the dollar. So like that's a pretty exciting place to be. I know it's like a nuclear Fallout wasteland, but
but all the things that were avoided because of it.
Yeah, I like the idea of Mookie Betts being there. Maybe Mookie Betts staying on the Red Sox is actually what caused the apocalypse.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. It's a good point. There might be something there. There's so many hidden files and all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't doubt it. There might be the Mookie Betts somewhere, hanging out in Diamond City.
Yeah, you guys should check out my fan fiction on Reddit. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah.
What if Tom Brady didn't lose to the Giants twice in the Super Bowl? Then the world never would have turned into Tamriel to give us Skyrim. So,
would Tom Brady have been as popular if his teeth weren't as big?
No, that's the only reason he was popular was because he had huge bunny teeth.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because he couldn't run, so I'd assume the teeth were keeping him going. What have you been playing, dude?
I set goals at the beginning of the year on this show, and I completely forgot that I set gaming goals, and so I've been like rushing to go back and actually accomplish.
What are they?
One of them, I have like never beaten Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
I always get like halfway through it and then give up. And so this weekend I traveled and I brought my 3DS with me, and I drank like an entire bottle of scotch over the course of the weekend and didn't play any of my 3DS. But when I got back Monday night after getting back, I played like the first temple. And yeah, man, that game's always really good. I think it's got like such a strong opening. And then I'm just like wondering, when am I going to peter off this time? But I'm going to try my best to actually go through and beat it for once.
Do it. Have you ever played or gotten through Majora's Mask?
I have not played Majora's Mask, no.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I know that there's like a very split fan base for each of those.
No, my roommate
vastly different.
My roommate in college was obsessed with Majora's Mask, and so I actually watched him play it a lot. Like I would just be like sitting on the couch doing homework, and
yeah, that's all you need.
We invented Let's Plays. I don't want your money for this. I'm like the guy who created not penicillin, probably penicillin. The guy who created that stuff for diabetes, insulin.
Bayer.
I'm like the guy who created insulin. You say bacon?
Yeah.
Bayer. No, not Bayer. I'm like the guy who created insulin and then gave the patent away for free. So like I invented Let's Plays in college, and I gave it away for free to let other people profit off my hard work.
Thanks for your contributions.
Yeah, anything I can do to help everyone else it's good. It's time well spent.
Yeah.
So I don't have the urge to go and play Majora's Mask myself, but I've never finished Ocarina of Time. It came out when I was like 7, and it was just like the game is like a little too intense for a 7-year-old. And I don't mean intense as in like content wise. I just mean like trying to actually figure out what to do, like 3D space puzzles.
Right.
Because that was like the first time I'd ever been exposed to that. Because like I was playing on a Genesis before we got our.
And it doesn't really tell you all that much.
No, it sure doesn't. And thankfully, the 3DS version does. So I've been enjoying that. Only a couple hours in. Besides that, SD Gundam, I kind of am hitting a wall with that game just because.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. I hit my wall 5 minutes into the demo.
Yeah, it's getting harder. Like I've been like upgrading all my suits. I've been changing my teams out, trying to figure out what to do. But I think I'm like halfway through the campaign, and I just like don't know what it wants me to do to actually beat these bosses that seem like they're freaking impossible to overcome. So we'll see how much more time I spend on that. I was really convinced for one of my other goals, I wanted to get to 100 platinums, and I think I'm still sitting at 87 where I started at the year. So we'll see. I thought Gundam was going to be one of those, but I just can't say anymore.
No, that's fair. Is it like a heavy platinum to get?
No, it doesn't seem that hard, but like the game itself is just, it's like speaking a dialect I like don't quite understand, you know, like it's communicating to me, but I'm just like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do it. And so it's just like a 3D action game where you can do like melees and you can do shoot, like, you know, distance shooting, whatever. And like, it turns out knowing a lot about Gundam just doesn't help you at all. Like the story sucks because there's no English voice acting whatsoever. And so much of like the conversations play out in subtitles once the game starts. There's so many like immediate confrontations that happen. So like, I don't have time to like read the subtitles because I'm trying very hard to get no damage on me so I can like see a boss with like, you know, full health or whatever. And that's a little frustrating, especially because like, you know, I've got all these characters from different timelines, and like their interactions should be really interesting because like, you know, they kind of occupy a similar space just in like a different continuity. But I have no idea what they're saying. So maybe I'll just watch like a YouTube compilation of all the intros and outros for these people because I ain't getting it from the game.
I played the demo and it was inside this like canyon area.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty much exactly like the Mos Eisley mission in Rogue Squadron. That's all I was thinking the whole time I was playing it. I was just shooting down all the sand people running around.
Mm-hmm. What's funny too is like as soon as that canyon showed up, I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what level this is." Like, there's only one important canyon in Gundam continuity. What about besides games? What else have you been doing lately?
Oh no! I swear they've asked this question in interviews before, and I'm like, please don't ask me what I'm doing with my personal life. I meant
like shows and movies. Like,
oh yeah.
Sorry, didn't want to get too personal. Sorry.
No. I haven't really been watching too much. We've been watching the new Game of Thrones show, and I was like checked out of Game of Thrones by like season 4 of the last series, but I've been really enjoying this new series. It's getting really good. So we've been watching that. And then I just watched this new show, which is fantastic, and I highly recommend it. It's called Mo, and it's on Netflix, and it's got one of the actors he's a comedian as well, but it's got one of the actors from a show called Rami, which is also fantastic. Super short. It's only like 8 episodes, I think, and they're like 30-minute episodes, so it's very, very quick to watch, but really good.
When you first texted me, Mo, I thought you were talking about Morbius because you just said Mo, and I thought that was Morbius slang.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I haven't watched enough to know about the Morbius slang. Did you watch that movie?
I haven't. I remember my partner Leah was like driving back from like the city, you know, like the nearest town that has like a grocery store and something that sells DVDs. I remember being like, dude, it's really important to me. Like, it's dead of winter. I got nothing else to do. It's really important. You got to bring back the Morbius Blu-ray. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm super serious. And it's been 6 months and that thing is still shrink wrapped. And I feel like such a dick. Yeah, and it's now on Netflix. I Venmo'd her the $24.95 plus respective sales tax to cover her expense, but I still feel bad about like pushing it.
You should also have to pay like damages for trauma.
Oh yeah,
of having to touch that box.
Well, that and just like what is it like some kind of fee for like her having to be the one in public. Like
exactly.
You know the story about like how guys don't wear condoms because they're too embarrassed to buy condoms. It's like guys don't watch Morbius because they're too embarrassed to buy Morbius.
Yeah. No, I can't stand Jared Leto. Like I'm really tired of him as a person.
Is your favorite Jared Leto movie Fight Club because he just gets the crap kicked out of him?
I mean, it's a good one. I didn't always have a problem with him, but he just got really weird during Justice League time. Like, he was probably always weird, but like he got real weird, and that was where like I just couldn't keep up with the dude anymore. And he has like an ad out with like Gucci or some other company for perfume, and the name of the perfume is Guilty, so it just slams Guilty all across the magazine wall right in front of his face. And he just I don't know, man, he just seems like
that's really bad like reinforcement, right? Like if you just see his face and then the word guilty, it's like
guilty.
You're just sitting there, you're like, man, what did that guy do? I don't know what he did, but it's bad. He's guilty of it.
He did it. He did it for sure.
He sure did all of it. Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't watched Morbius yet, and I feel bad for it as a movie. So I'll let it die there.
Gotcha. Have you watched Andor yet?
I haven't. I feel like I'm gonna get around to it eventually, but I haven't opened it yet. I saw it's a really stupid thing to complain about because it's a dumb space movie made for children that grown men fantasize about. And I don't know, man. I saw a ship shoot out these lightsabers from the side wings, and it threw me off. And it like blew up another ship as it was flying. I saw that in an ad, and I was like, I wish they wouldn't have put that in there, because it just seemed like the most like Disney thing that they could add to a movie. I don't know.
Wait, sorry, you don't
like
you wish it weren't in the ad, or you wish it weren't in the show?
I mean, both would probably be good, but I haven't watched the show yet, so maybe there's a reason for it, and maybe it works, and it's cool in the moment. But like just seeing it in an ad, I was like, it was just felt like really out of place, and so I kind of like a sour taste in my mouth about it. I was like, I'll wait to watch this for a little.
All right,
it sucks.
Can I run something by you?
Yes.
All right, so I understand that not feeling very Star Wars, but how Star Wars does this feel? Like if like you got like a Corellian ship, right? Like Han Solo.
Yeah.
But it had like a wider front. You know how it has like the little inlet thing? That's supposed to be like a cargo holder or whatever. What if it was so wide, it was like as wide as like a Star Destroyer bridge? And then we saw, or like it was two ships, right, that had to like run alongside one, and then they made like a giant lightsaber and they cut off a Star Wars Star Destroyer bridge. Would that feel more Star Wars if it was like a little bit more janky?
Yeah, a little more scrappy, maybe. But that's the thing, is I haven't watched it, so I can't even say what it was, or like but it doesn't really matter. It's just me being a big baby.
Gotcha.
And like seeing something and being like, I think I'm gonna wait, just because everything's been like so many remakes and so many different things have come out in the past few years, and it's all like been left a very sour taste. A lot of new things have left a sour taste in my mouth.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if this is widely hated before I watch it, in case it's just gonna be terrible. But I've seen some good things about it so far.
Our buddy Colin was texting earlier saying that he was into it, and he actually seems like really hard to please.
Yeah,
for Disney stuff in particular.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's the only thing that gets a free pass. But even then, he was super upset with Dominion. So
yeah,
I feel like
he should have been upset with Jurassic World. That should have ticked everybody off at that point.
I like Jurassic World. I didn't like Jurassic Haunted House or whatever.
What? That's a thing? Is that like a Lego movie?
That was like the fifth one. No, I can't remember what it was called. Because there was Dominion. There's Jurassic World, which is like the first like Chris Pratt one, and there was a second Chris Pratt one. And then Dominion was the third.
3 of them. Yeah, I always forget that there were 3. I can't. This whole time I've been thinking it was only the 2, but yeah, I forgot about the second one. I never watched it. I stopped at the first one.
It was 2 different movies. I feel like the first half they were like on an island that was like going volcano, and
Sorna.
Yeah, that or Isla Nublar. It's hard to keep up. I feel like they just invent a new island in that archipelago every time.
Yeah,
archipelago.
Just gotta look at the stamp on their legs, dude.
Is it archipelago or archipelago?
Archipelago, I think.
I always do pelago because I see lago in Spanish, and I'm just like,
it's a problem. I could be wrong,
mm-hmm.
and I might be saying it the Hispanic way. I don't know.
Lo siento. Yeah, claro que sí. I haven't watched Andor. I haven't watched She-Hulk. I've been falling behind on my Disney Pluses, but the one show I have been watching has been the Rings of Power show.
How do you like it? Well, how far away are, like, trying not to, spoil it for anyone, but like, how far ahead are you, and how do you like it?
I am 3. I've watched 3 episodes, so I was going to do the 4th episode tonight. I think the production's amazing, and I think it's so weird to see like this world is just like so much more messed up than we thought it was. Like you see like real struggles between these people that like, in the films are just like, wow, these guys really have their stuff together. And like, you're seeing them at a point in time where they just very much do not have their stuff together.
Yeah. The only problem I've been having with it is the characters feel like they're being introduced really quickly and then they're gone. They don't show back up for a while, and then they're just like there's like just random characters that they introduce for like a very small plot point, but they give so much time and emotion and theater to that character that turns out to be like completely unimportant. And it's just very strange to me. But I mean, maybe they're setting something up bigger. But so far, like, I like Galadriel, I like Elrond and everything, but the dwarf people, I don't remember their names, but they're cool.
Man, that first episode was like amazing, right?
Yeah, the first one.
The first episode is incredible, where it's like light spoilers, but it's like Galadriel is like hunting down the remnants of Morgoth's army and is like slowly learning like through clues that like there might be a new leader leading these surviving orcs and goblins and whatnot. And it's like her basically trying to prove that this is real.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's the first episode's incredible. I don't care for like the stranger storyline, like
yeah,
getting too spoilery, but like I don't
know.
know. I thought it was Gandalf. It could be. I don't know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And it seems like such a background thing. And then the characters that they use to introduce this stranger seem so unimportant. I don't care. I don't care about the kids, George.
Well, we know who they are. We know exactly who they are.
The kids that found the stranger?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, their last names. We know who they are.
Oh, yeah. But they just seem so unimportant. Like, I don't know. I couldn't care less about those characters.
That's a theme of Lord of the Rings, though. Things that seem unimportant that are. It's about a ring. I mean, who looks at a ring and thinks that this is how you command legions, you know?
I don't know. I like fewer kids in my things. And I'm fine with kids, but like, you know, when it's catered to kids, you know, kind of like how they did it with Star Wars with Leia, where I was like, this is a Power Ranger scene. Like, this is ridiculous.
I do believe that child Leia could outrun Flea. Like, if Flea is getting into weird stuff in California, what do you think Flea's doing in space? You know?
It's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know.
Really quick. Also, I don't know if enough people listen to this show where it's going to matter if we do this. But like, really quick spoilers for Obi-Wan. So like, I always thought like in episode 4 of the movies when he's just like, I feel something, a presence I've not felt, and you know he's talking about Obi-Wan like being on the Death Star, and it's just weird to me that like, you know, I thought he hadn't seen him in like 20 years. And it turns out he just hadn't seen him in like 7. So he's like shocked that Obi-Wan's like alive in the show. And then he's like shocked again that he's alive in the movie, even though it's been less time.
They kind of broke that, didn't they? They
sure did. That's like my only like stickler point. Like I wish Obi-Wan hadn't confronted Vader. Like I understand why it had to be there, but I wish Vader could have been under some kind of duress, and Obi-Wan could have like figured out a way to do it without actually being there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, just to like mess with him a little bit, like.
And that's,
or if they had just done more flashbacks to like Clone Wars stuff, like I think you could have done scenes there.
I think at some point, you know, if the world survives the next 10 years, or if humans do, I think that like there will be a moment where people will look back at the way fan service was driven like extremely hard via marketing, via like all these weird like technological ways through social media and all this, and like algorithmically figuring out like what people want. You know, they want giant lightsaber battles and all this other fan service stuff. And I think it like eventually, like I'm hoping that at some point they'll like kind of look back at this as like a huge mistake that like just doing what the fans wanted was like not, it doesn't make a good movie. And they did that with the first Star Wars episode 8 or whatever, where it was like absolutely fan service, and they knew it, and they did that on purpose. And you know, I don't know. I feel like it started to backfire a little bit.
Yeah, I really want my movies to feel less like it was co-written by 8 people responding to each other in a Tumblr thread.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
I've been listening to a podcast recently a lot called The Rewatchables. And like I cover movies on Shortbox Summary, but like the movies are themed, right? And I generally try to like go in order. And it kind of sucks because like I get to talk about these movies, which like were a huge important part of my childhood. Like Aaliyah and I got to do an episode on Daredevil, which like meant a lot to, you know, 8th and 9th grade me. But I'm not going to say that's like a good movie, you know? And so like that's like one thing I'm jealous of is just like this podcast gets to talk about like Goodfellas and Heat and you know, like in Indiana Jones and, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever. And I'm just sitting here talking about comic book movies. I'm like, I have a category here called like, what did this movie change? I'm like, oh, it's really, this would apply better to like better movies. And man, I just I miss real movies, I think is like kind of what I'm getting at. And like, I understand everyone was dunking on Martin Scorsese for saying this isn't cinema, but like the dude was kind of right. Like it's not cinema, it's marketing. That's all it is.
Yes, I agree. And that's the hard, that's the hard part of it is like, I know it like annoys people because like, they have huge fan bases and I get it. It's fine. It's fun. They're big, dumb, loud movies. They do what, they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine. It's fine to enjoy those things. But I think that there are a lot of really interesting creative movies out there. You just have to kind of look. And that's the problem is that it's so hard to find them or like to figure out that they're there just because of how loud, the theater is with constantly pumping Disney movies and large
and
IPs.
Also, I like wonder like of the top 100 YouTube channels that talk about movies, what percentage do you think their most recent video had something to do with like Marvel, Star Wars, or like Warner Brothers? And so it's just like the conversation, like it's not even that like you don't know where to look for the movies. It's just you don't even know where to look for the people who are talking about the movies you need to look for.
Yeah.
And it's tough because this is a very pro Top Gun Maverick podcast, but I'd also argue that there was like more cinematography in like the first 10 minutes of that movie than like most of the MCU in phase 4. So I don't know, like it feels weird like defending one like $1 billion corporation against like another.
Right.
But
yeah.
There was at least artistry in Top Gun that just I haven't really seen recently in Marvel and Star Wars movies.
Right. And I'm sure like A24 has all kinds of things that they reject that they shouldn't, but like as far as a production company, like I'm just glad that those movies are there and these show they're getting more into TV now. So like there's more shows with, topics that normally aren't covered or I don't know. I find that it's they're there. It's just it's definitely not marketed as much, but I am glad that like at least there are some still thriving that are putting out something.
Did A24 do Bullet Train? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's amazing because that's a Brad Pitt movie, and isn't Brad Pitt is like a major factor of A24, right?
I'm not sure about that. I think I looked that up and I wasn't like 100% sure if he's like still involved.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to drop a note in here from Future George.
Yeah.
And we're going to learn what the truth is right now. Hey everyone, Future George here. Brad Pitt was not a founder of A24 Films, but in November 2001, Brad Pitt, Brad Gray, and Jennifer Aniston co-founded a studio called Plan B Entertainment, and Plan B has worked with A24. So he didn't start A24, but he executive produced Minari, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and Moonlight, which are all really big movies that help put A24 on the map. So that's where I got that from. Back to you, Fabio and Past George. Well, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really impressive. Thank you, Future George, for dropping that knowledge on A24 and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, now we all know.
All right, Fabio, I think that about covers up the beginning. Are you ready to jump into our main topic?
Yes.
Cool. I'll see you there, my guy.
Shrimp.
Shrimp?
Is that not what we're doing?
Shrimp. I love it. Let's talk. You're a vegetarian. Do you eat shrimp?
No. They're disgusting. No? Even before I wasn't a vegetarian. Shrimp is filthy.
They're just... Is seafood in general filthy to you?
I don't think all of it's filthy, but I'd say that definitely bottom feeders are probably not like my first choice for if I were to consume a fish.
Yeah, if shrimp were on land, they would just be cockroaches, right?
Exactly. They're disgusting. And you have to, and there's nothing else that I could buy that guarantees I will find some poop in it.
Yeah, you do. You do have to. I mean, I think they call it deveining because they don't want to call it depooping. But yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you like gotten shrimp though, and there was poop in it, and you're just like, oh, okay, I guess they don't do that here.
Oh, buddy, you would hate lobster. Let me tell you.
And
you think that's bad? You should see a lobster. It feels like every lobster you catch is like right after Thanksgiving.
Oh Lord, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm real good on that. They smell horrible. Nobody ever says, this isn't a too steaky steak. Because they like the way steak tastes.
There's a little too much steak in my steak,
yeah. Yeah. It's like, this is too fishy. We're like, well, you got the thing. Well, that was my shrimp take. So.
Yeah, your little shrimp rant. All right, Fabio, now are you ready to jump into our main topic tonight?
Yeah.
All right. Fabio, I reached out to Fabio because it was really important to me to have him on for this topic, and I very specifically want to talk about this. Tonight, we are talking about co-op games. And we were talking about co-op games because there was a tweet I saw that I'm looking up now that I'm going to keep looking for. Hold on a second.
Just keep vamping over here.
All right, this is this is a tweet from at Noty NOTY3SS, whatever. Men really. Yeah. Oh, notice? Notice? How would you say it? Naughtius?
I don't know. I don't understand those letters.
All right. There is a tweet from an account called Notius. Men really invented online gaming as an excuse to talk on the phone all night with other men. And I think they meant that pejoratively, but they're also 100% right. That is one of my favorite ways to catch up with friends is to play online games together. And I specifically wanted Fabio on here because we have a group thread going of 4 people that we just love playing games with together. It doesn't always work out. You know, we're all living life. We're all doing our own thing. One person, Jamie, really only texts back like, I'd say like his ratios are like 1 to 280. Like he sends one text for every 280 texts he receives from the group.
We also talk a lot in there, which I'm thankful for. If we go a day without somebody popping something in there, it's like weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Usually somebody will, so it's nice. Shout out to the.
It was super selfish though, because I was getting texts from Colin about playing games, and I was like, "Oh, I can't. I made a plan to play with my buddy Fabio. You were texting me about playing games. I was like, hold on a second. What if I just made a group chat with the 3 of us?
Yeah,
and that way they could play with each other if I'm not available." And then Jamie loved playing Call of Duty. And I was just like, okay, let's add him to this too. And so this started. And then the first game we all played together was Zombie Army 4.
Yes.
I think that's like one of the best games of last generation now. Like in hindsight, I think that is like one of the most fun things you can do on PlayStation 4.
And it's like something I would never have touched on my own.
No.
Like it's just something that normally wouldn't interest me to play.
That game's probably bad on your own, but that game with 3 friends and the fact that it was a PlayStation Plus title, I think like beginning the year in like January. Oh my God, the game's incredible. And we were so dedicated. We went through and we actually bought all the DLC for it.
Yeah, and it was on like super sale too. So
it was great.
That was really great. Yeah. No, we had a lot of fun. I think you guys ended up playing it a lot more without me, but it was because you guys all got the platinum. But yeah, I mean, like that was just such a perfect way to like continue to try to find other stuff that was similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of hit like a scratch that hit a scratch, George. Hit a scratch that we couldn't itch.
Hit that scratch real good. Hit it like a car. Yeah.
But yeah, Zombie Army, it's a very like it's not like a super polished game, right? Like it's not like the most smooth moving. Like it definitely feels like a PS3, PS2 game. Upscaled obviously visually, but like But it doesn't. I never heard anybody else talk about it until we played it.
We were probably the first people in the world to play it, just because the way I invented Let's Plays, I think we invented that game's reputation.
They made number 1, and we were like, 2 and 3. We still didn't have any interest, and then by 4, they were like, "We're going to get them on this one." And then
that's the disappointing part, man. Zombie Army Trilogy just feels like such like a bad PC game from like 20 years ago, and then Zombie Army 4, they made it a bit more arcadey. They did that one right.
Yeah.
So it took us a few months, but man, we finally got the platinum in that. And if you want, Fabio, I'll go back and play that game with you to help you get the platinum, because I left that game on my hard drive. That is how much I enjoyed it.
I wonder if there'll ever be a Zombie Army 5. There's got to be, right?
There has to be.
That train's not slowing down. Hitler's got to die again.
Yeah, exactly. Hitler, the dictator, is so nice they killed him twice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, 4 times, according to the canon.
All right, so that is the first co-op game I wanted to bring up. Fabio, what's a co-op game you want to talk about?
I'll talk quickly about Warzone, just because I know that's like one that you haven't really played too much of. But I think that game came out at the most perfect time for me personally, like it did with a lot of other people. It was like just after the pandemic hit. Nobody was going out still. Like everyone was just stuck at home. So it was such a perfect game to just, because there were games like, other battle royales like Fortnite, and I don't even think Apex was out yet. I don't know if it was. I don't think so. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, though, that was definitely out.
PUBG, right? Exactly. Yeah. But there was just nothing specifically like Warzone. Like it had the same movement of a Call of Duty game, which is like the ideal like type movement for a shooter. And to be able to just drop in with a few friends and just explore areas and like make moments like there's moments in that game that that's what makes the game perfect. It is the weird things that happen while you're playing and like the chance of victory. But like, I don't know, that game brought me close with like a lot of other friends that I had never really like hung out with or anything like that. And we still play Warzone now.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know, even though the game sucks now, I think it just, when it first launched, it was just something so special, and definitely like having that opportunity to hang out with friends during that time was perfect. So yeah, that was like one of my top favorite co-op. It's not really co-op, but you play with
no, I get it though. I mean, you play in teams, yeah. I remember it was my 30th birthday, and it was like right like the first summer of the pandemic, right? Like that July. And I remember you and I just like hung out in Fortnite. Like didn't even do anything in Fortnite. Like I think
we ever went into a match.
We didn't. It was just like the free roam area, right? And I think there was like a marshmallow event happening or something. But it was just you and I driving around and jumping around and playing with like the weird bouncy pads. Oh man, thanks for being there.
That was the last time I played Fortnite.
Me too. Yeah, thanks for being there on my 30th birthday. That was
no, it was so much fun, and that's one of the things that like I think is special about co-op in general, is that the games don't have to be great, or you don't even have to do anything. Sometimes it's just like that, like you mentioned earlier, it's just that excuse to like be on the phone with friends and have some kind of interaction and like some kind of just moment to hang out and like mindlessly explore. Which sounds really easy to do, but a lot of games do it wrong also.
100%, 100,000,000,000%. A lot of games.
Like, what if you could play Skyrim, but with friends? Amazing idea. Fallout, but with friends. Those games, I still can't do them. I just can't do it. The recipe isn't right. I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks. I think I bought you Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
And then like I bought it for me, and then I played it for like 2 hours, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, you would think it would be right.
And like every 6 months, the latest expansion is always on sale for like half off, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is the one to do. I'm like, no, George, it's not. It's not going to do it because you've done this 6 times, man. Like, just hit the net already. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm really lucky in that I've got 3 friends who generally want to play games together, but sometimes that's really hard to do, right? Sometimes getting one person can be hard enough. But if you can get one person to meet up with you, I got some games I want to recommend. Operation Tango, that was a PlayStation Plus game for PS5, where it's asymmetrical co-op. So like you got one person who's an agent who's in like a physical place, and then you got another person who is a hacker. And basically all they're doing is just like trying to make the agent's life easier. You need to exchange information to help each other do your jobs better. And I played that with Colin, and it was really, really good. There was one level that was super frustrating, but besides that, it was a pretty good way to spend time. Another game we really liked is called We Were Here. I think I talked about that on the show a little bit. And same sort of deal where there's like 2 people in like an impossible situation, and they need to rely on each other to survive. I think the first game is like legitimately great, and it's incredibly short. It's really creepy. It's really well done. Diminishing returns as that series goes on. In fact, we're on either the third or fourth one right now. I cannot remember which. And God darn, that game is extremely frustrating. That game is really, really tough. Not because like the puzzles are too hard, but it's just like the game itself just like doesn't work super well. I think their reach got a little too big for their capabilities, unfortunately. But those first two, like the first We Were Here and Operation Tango, I really recommend those if you got another buddy that you want to play games with. And Fabio, you got one too.
A game?
Yeah.
Which one?
It Takes Two.
I have a lot of things written down at the moment.
It Takes Two.
Rattle one?
Oh, yeah. Rattle. Yeah. Sorry. I was trying to set you up.
Yeah. No, yeah. It Takes Two is... I wrote down 2 more games right now just because I remembered. I'll spout them out quick. But like the Quarry and the Dark Pictures anthology, although like 2 people aren't necessarily playing at the same time, it is one of the most fun like co-op type games you can play just because it's a very simple game to play, but they play out like movies. And then each, if you're in a room with people, or like me and my fiance played it together, and she would like help me make decisions, and like sometimes those decisions we were expecting just didn't turn out the way we were, and we were like so invested in every single one that we played. They're all very, very fun. I highly recommend it. And then It Takes Two is fantastic. My fiance and I started playing it, and then her daughter saw us playing and wanted to play it as well, and she got super hooked onto it. And I can't think of any other co-op game that like makes you work together the way that this game does. And it's specifically about like, not to spoil too much, but it's specifically about like a failing relationship between 2 parents. And I think that like that concept of like 2 stubborn people who are not doing well like together, having to work together, it just works with the narrative, it works with the gameplay. Like the puzzles are fun, they're simple enough that even if you don't play a lot, like you can pick it up. But I think that is probably one of the best co-op games ever made.
I agree. I played that game with someone, a really good friend of mine, but man, they were so drunk. They were so drunk. And there's like one like minecart level that like very quickly became like one of my most like frustrating gaming experiences ever. Not because I couldn't do it, but because they couldn't do it. And hot damn, just like trying to like yell out like, now, jump now. And like there was like I think a bit of a delay with the mic, and they were wasted. I think they were going through stuff. So like I'm not like knocking, like also like I get drunk a lot. Like I'm not knocking someone drunk. But man, that game sometimes a little tough if you're not in the right headspace. But man, beautiful game and really interesting too. I'm excited for Jose Fares's next project.
I know. Yeah, I love that dude. I'm very curious to see what he'll do next. Has he announced it?
I think they just announced it, but I was not paying close enough attention because he was like trending on Twitter the other day. I just wasn't.
Oh, okay. I have to check that out then.
I was like down at a wedding. I left the house. I went to a big function.
That's exciting.
I haven't done that in a couple of years. I was very nervous.
How does that go?
Pretty good. Waiting a couple more days before taking my COVID test. Still wearing a mask everywhere I go, but I would do that even if I weren't positive for COVID.
Yeah.
I still get a lot of looks at the gas station, but I don't care. It makes me feel better. Anyways, but yeah, I left my house. It's strange.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can say what you want about masks, but I haven't gotten as sick as I used to. So
yeah, it was really cool about the last 2 years. I mean, not a lot to be 100% honest, but not getting a cold was really nice. That was new. I'll take that.
I got sick like maybe once, I think, but it wasn't COVID, so freaked out. We're fine.
Fabio, can I share 2 games that I'm afraid are on your list? I just want to get them out.
Yes.
Warhammer Chaos Bane, which is like a Diablo clone, like 3 force camera isometric action RPG. Mm-hmm. Super smooth, super good. I think it's just like a really competent game. Like this is the game, I think it was called Warrior's Lair, was supposed to come to Vita. And if it was just this game, basically like on handheld, I think the Vita would have been saved. That's probably not true. But man, it would have been probably like one of my favorite games on the platform for sure. And then Warhammer Vermintide, which is basically like a medieval first-person shooter, ostensibly, and first-person sword swinger, where you're just fighting this thing called the Vermintide, which is just like rat zombies, basically, for all intents and purposes. And then each level ends with like
priests,
rat
zombies.
And then there's rat hookers, and that's not like prostitutes. They're just rats that have very long hooks and pull you like you're someone on stage, like in vaudeville act who just like shouldn't be on stage. And every time they grab you, it's like actually terrifying, even if you know it's coming. But man, Vermintide 2 is amazing. And like the best part about those two games is they are usually on sale for like under $10 on PlayStation Network. And I assume that extends to the Microsoft Store as well.
Yeah, they run pretty well. Like we played, I don't think we had any like technical issues that I can remember. It's very fun. It's like it's surprisingly pretty for a PS4 game.
Oh, I think it looks great. It runs great too. Super smooth.
Yeah, 60 frames per second. Yeah, it's a fun game.
Played that on PlayStation 5 and didn't have any issues with the frame rate either. So looks really good. Yeah. Fabio, any more to hit us with?
I can remember like going on the topic of like bad games that still make fun co-op experiences. Army of Two. I remember me and a friend just sat there all day and just played through the story. Super cheap game at the time. Like it never really did well. Like even back then it was on sale for like $8 or something. But I just like, I remember like just being bored with a friend and being like, yeah, let's just go to GameStop and grab a game and let's just play it. Yeah. And like that was, like that, it's just, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just the experience of playing it together can be the fun part.
Yeah, you and I were talking about it. We were like prepping for the show, and we're like, you know what? Sometimes maybe even like a bad game is better, just because like it forces you to like really disengage with the material. And it's kind of like the reason I always thought that like a movie was like a good date, like a good first date with someone, is that like you go to a movie first and then you go out to dinner, and then like the best part about that is like you have something to talk about, right? Like after the movie, you can talk about the movie. And the way like a game is bad, like if you and your buddy like haven't talked to each other in a long time or it's awkward, like you can talk about the game and how bad it is. Like there's like built-in conversation material for you to talk to someone.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. I think that like some of the best co-op games too have been like smaller indie companies that like have been publishing games. Like one of the like best games that we've ever played, George.
Yeah.
In space. Fighting spiders.
Oh my God.
Dwarves.
This is probably my game of the year so far, to be completely honest.
How is this game real? Like, honestly, like, it's such a perfect game. Like, I don't know. I don't think once had a connectivity issue.
Are you saying you want to jump back into the space rig?
Honestly, I've thought about it. I wish the only complaint I have about it is that now we're in season 2 and there hasn't been much added.
And it's exactly the same as season 1.
Update coming though. There is an update coming from what I've seen. I saw some images of some crazy looking new aliens that aren't spiders, so that's fun. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be worth getting back into.
Did we say the game? Did we say Deep Rock Galactic?
It's Dwarves. The name of the game is Dwarves.
That's a good point. Yeah, Dwarves, also known as Deep Rock Galactic. It's a first-person shooter in like a procedurally generated world where you need to like go through these little caverns and you need to mine X amount of randomized material. That's the entire game, and you fight waves and waves of spiders. And the game's incredible. The game's like absolutely astonishing.
And there's a couple different objectives, like, you know, depending on the level that you choose. And there's the progression though is a little fuzzy. So, and it is a very long grind. But it is a free game if you had it on, if you picked it up for PlayStation Plus at one point, and I think it's also on Game Pass.
I was looking through my PSN profiles. That's how I'm like, that's like my list of games I'm talking about. I'm at 50 of 70 trophies.
Oh my God. I thought you platinumed that for some reason.
No, that game.
70 trophies?
There's 70 trophies with the DLC.
Oh my God. With the DLC too. Yeah, that's still a lot though.
It might be too much. Yeah.
It is.
That game is
That's
crazy.
the only flaw I'd say is the progression and the like amount of grind is a lot.
Yeah.
Like almost not worth it.
Trying to occupy a similar space, a similar space. You, Colin, and I played a game called Arcade Gedden,
Oh
which is
yeah.
a third-person shooter that looks like it was trying to steal like a lot of like personality and vibes from Sunset Overdrive. Like it was trying to be like, hey, look at this, like, momentum forward shooter game. I just don't think that game played very well, unfortunately.
No, the control it just didn't feel good. It felt like everything was very floaty and like like nothing made sense that we were doing.
Mhm.
Like not that it has to, but like there was just no like it didn't feel like we were doing anything that mattered. It was just very like looter shooter kind of, but with no end.
The one piece of credit that I do really want to give it though is I feel like they did a really good job of making it competitive within the co-op, like they did a really good job of like making us fight for guns like in that, so like we could get like a leg up. And there was like mini games kind of like dispersed throughout each level you were in where like you'd be working together, killing all these like basic enemies for currency or whatever, so you can like upgrade at like a checkpoint. And then all of a sudden there would just be like okay, it's 1v1v1, like in like a team, or not a team deathmatch, but like a Slayer match, where it's just like, okay, first to 8 kills wins. And it's just like, oh, this is kind of interesting that like we didn't need to load into this. It was just kind of like a side quest basically, and like the thing we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I'm sure it's got some good bits in it. I just couldn't find them right off the bat.
No, I hear you.
And it's weird because like we talked about a game not being very good and that making a good experience, but that doesn't always work either. Like Aliens,
Fireteam
Elite. We really tried. We wanted that game to be good so bad, and we wanted to have fun in it.
The funniest part is we get texts from Colin every day. He's just like, so I was on the Fireteam Elite Reddit. Looks like there's an update coming soon. You boys ready to jump back in?
No,
it's like
no.
come on. It's like, come on, man. We don't.
Like that's I think that the borderline too is like how punishing is the co-op, and that's not always true either. I don't understand what makes a good something good. Like what makes something objectively good or subjectively, I guess.
Well, it's like what the Supreme Court says about pornography, right? It's like I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. Like I can't put into words what makes like a co-op game great. But like you, Colin, and I, and Jamie, if he isn't busy, it takes 10 minutes for us. And like a recent example of that is Strange Brigade, which is made by Rebellion, the same people who did Zombie Army 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, I was like losing sleep to that game, not because I was playing it, but because I was like literally in bed thinking about it. This is like a 1930s like pulpy adventure game where it's basically like the Mummy or like an Indiana Jones type vibe, and you're just like going to like all these adventure locations that have been kind of like fetishized in Pulp Fiction, not the movie but like the genre. And you're just like fighting like weird as Tekken zombies, or like pygmy enemies that like come up to you and like explode or whatever. And it's just got like a pretty good energy about it. I mean, I'm sure it's like slightly racist, but that's not what I mean. But like it doesn't take itself too seriously, I guess, is like the energy I'm talking about, where like it just introduces like these crazy ideas and then it just like kind of dares you to have fun with it. Yeah, and I do have a lot of fun with it.
I think the puzzles make it special. There aren't too many co-op games that have like a good mix of action and like heavy puzzles, like, and not just like very simple like shoot this thing. It's like we will be there, the four of us were like racking our brains trying to figure out a puzzle and trying to figure it out together. Like you got to move across 50 tiles, and if you step on the wrong tile it resets the whole thing. So, figuring out how to get across using the puzzle, pieces, like, and the clues, the visual clues that are laid around the maps.
That's the happiest I've seen you playing a game recently. Dude. Is like when we got to like that door puzzle where like, oh, this like we tried to do, we're like, this is stupid. And then I think I stuck around. I'm like, no, I think it starts like this. And like, I was able to solve like the first part. And then after that, I was just like way out of my depth. But then like you and Colin took over and you're like, oh no, you got to reorient yourself. And like, that was the part that like I couldn't like reconcile with. But like the two of you just like understood what to do. And then like we actually like it took probably like 8 minutes. Like it took That was the thing we spent the most time on that level. Like that took longer than like the boss fight was like actually figuring out like how to open that door. And then we open it and it's just like, oh, here's a little gold, here's a little XP. Like it wasn't for anything major whatsoever. But that was easily like the thing I'll remember first when like reflecting on that level for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to that game. I don't know why it didn't get as much attention as I think it should have. I don't know if it's technical issues. I know we had some disconnections. But overall, it was like $5 for like the complete edition with all the DLC or something like that, like $4, something insanely cheap.
Yeah, I mentioned it on a podcast here recently. We've also been taking breaks just because a lot of us, been working or traveling or whatever. Man, I bought that game physically like 2 years ago.
That's so crazy. I'd never even heard about it.
I hadn't heard about it either, but like I still buy like a lot of physical media from like Best Buy because they actually have like the best shipping if you live in the middle of nowhere like I do. And I'll be at times where like, oh, I really just want these 2 movies. I don't want to spend like an extra $25 to get like another Blu-ray or whatever. And then I'll always like peruse like their gaming section and like specifically on clearance. Like that game was like $10, $9. And like that was what I needed to like get free shipping. And I never had any interest in playing it, but it was just like me like, hey, this looks kind of weird. I'm glad I have it physically. And man, that game, I wish that game came out this year so it could be like one of my games of the year because I absolutely love playing it so much.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at with like their series. I know they also make the Sniper. It's a Sniper Elite, right?
Yeah.
There's like 5 different types of sniper games that all have similar names.
They also made good Alien games not that long ago. Like they made like Alien versus Predator for like PlayStation 3.
Was that Rebellion?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about downloading that the other day.
That one was good. That was like where you get like a human campaign, an alien campaign, and like a Predator campaign. That one was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the stuff they put out, it's like it's not the most polished, prettiest game. It like I'd say I don't know what it is about their engine, but the movement is always really weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I don't know what it is about Strange Brigade. I think it's just the puzzle aspect and the working together aspect that it forces you to do it in a way that like no other game has. So I think it's interesting. Yeah, you feel like you're on a fun adventure. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we get to the quicksand level because I know it's coming. Live out my childhood fears.
Do you have any more games you want to mention? Because I kind of want to pivot to like a different category of games.
Quick touch on like Souls games. I know that those typically aren't highlighted as like co-op, but there are major co-op elements to it. And although I haven't really played too much with friends on it, on most Souls games, I've seen a lot of people have like very major bonds over like Bloodborne dungeons and stuff like that.
Do you want to help me platinum Bloodborne?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm not that far out of it. I'll definitely do it. I think I'm really close to platinuming that game.
Cool.
And then Halo is another one where the co-op is one of the dumbest types of co-op. Like you literally just spawn 2 like Master Chiefs. It's very strange, but just playing it. I know you and I had like an amazing time playing through the Halo campaigns. And
you and I have played through it multiple times at this point.
Yeah.
Like that's always. I think we do that like mostly in the winter.
Yeah, it does turn out. Yeah, usually.
And then I think in the summer we usually do like Gears of War.
Yeah. Yeah, both great co-op games. Like they're just nice games to kind of zone out because their missions are very simple and it's very easy to just have a good conversation or hang out with friends while playing.
Yeah, and like except for 2, there's like no boss fight. It's just like, oh, we gotta take the shields off this guy. So like there really isn't like a whole lot of like coordination, but like it is really funny when like someone I accidentally like stuck a grenade to you and then you get blown 800 feet into the sky. That's a good transition. The thing I want to talk about is like kind of like live servicey games really quick. I've been getting more into Destiny 2 again recently. I've been trying to play more with Austin, but we only played the one time, unfortunately. We got to set up times to like actually do it together because it felt so good, man. Just like downloading that game and like the first headshot I got on like one of the Fallen, I'm just like, oh yeah, that feels right. That's what a headshot should feel like. So Destiny 2 is one, and then the other big one Oh god, I'm blanking on the name. Maybe it's just Destiny 2. Maybe that's the only one I want to talk about. Maybe that's just the best one. Oh, The Division. That's what it was. Okay, The Division.
Okay.
Which,
are you getting back into that?
Yeah, I grabbed The Division 2. And I know Elijah's super like on board to play that game too. We played a co-op game together. We played Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Okay.
Austin, Elijah, and I actually thought that game was pretty fun. I'm mad that like I bought a game for the trophies specifically and didn't just like do it on Xbox. And we played it exactly one time. But like that game, really tactical. I know you like tactical shooters.
Yeah. I tried playing that game. It wasn't for me. I don't know why, but it just looked like it had like a thick layer of grease over it. Like it was all the color was all washed out and very
everything is like covered in Vaseline.
Yeah, and the mission structure just didn't really make too much sense to me. Like it was fine. It was fine. But it really felt like it should have just been like I think originally it was a special mode in Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made it its own game, but I that game's not going to last very much longer. I'm sure the servers will go out soon.
Yeah, let's see another game I want to get back in. I really want to check out Avengers. I got like half the trophies in that, and like they've just added so much new content since I don't think I've played that game in like exactly a year, maybe like 18 months. So I kind of want to go back and check out everything that's been added to that game. All right, I think that covers pretty much everything on my end. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I mean, not that like it needs any praise because people are going to buy it regardless, but I am very excited for Modern Warfare 2, just because of how much more was added to this one. Like there's just so much to do in it. So even if you don't like parts of it or certain modes or whatever, like there's just so much to do. They're bringing back special ops, which is co-op.
That was going to be my follow-up question because that was what first came out on Modern Warfare 2, right?
Yeah. And I think it's going to be really fun. The build that they had for the game has so much more involved. I saw there was an enemy like APC or truck or something like that, and somebody jumped on the side. You can ledge grab, and then while the guy was driving off, he shot him while he was in that car. Like the enemy was like it's like things like that are just insane, and I just can't imagine how the mission structure is going to be. But very excited for Modern Warfare 2. That's
awesome.
that's my game I'm waiting for this year.
I don't think I have any like co-op games coming out that I'm looking forward to. I am excited to get Tiny Tina's Wonderland on like Black Friday sales because I played the trial of that game and I really enjoyed it. But I don't want to pay $70 for it.
That's fair. Yeah. Do you feel like Borderlands still like has a place at all, or do you think it like, I mean, you like Tiny Tina's from what you played, but do you think that like they're changing it up enough to keep it going?
I do. Like they still sort of like partition out like the overworld from like, different segments. And like that was honestly one thing that was like kind of a turn off in the original Borderlands. Like I just thought they did like a really bad job of like, oh, I need to go here. It's like, well, you can fast travel here and then need to go to like the right exit on this map to like get to the right extension. I'm like, you couldn't have either made this like a full open world or just like made it easier to fast travel. And this seems to do like a better job of segmenting things. But it's fun. It's got like a really nice voice cast. Like it's got like Andy Samberg and like Wanda Sykes and Will Arnett.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
And what's her name? It's not Laura Bailey. I think it's the other one. It's the chick from like that Apple Plus show. I cannot remember her name. I feel really bad now. But like everyone in it is like absolutely crushing it. Like it's like Andy Samberg is so funny in that game. So I'm eagerly anticipating jumping back into it. All right, I think that about covers everything I want to talk about. Fabio, you got any closing words for the people listening at home or not at home, wherever they may be having their ears?
Yeah, go home and play co-op games. Stop going outside. Outside is bad for you.
Yeah,
never leave your house.
Yeah, outside's trying to kill you, so just stay inside and play games.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Austin is our leader and our editor. You can find him on Twitter at Austin J. Eller. Elijah, you can find him on Twitch and Twitter at Loco Lizardman. Coach does not have a Twitter, so you can probably find him in a Planet Fitness somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Either in like the steam room or lifting heavy things. Seth is at Seth the 90s Kid. Follow him for musings, but I lied. Don't follow him. He doesn't want you to follow him, but you can still see his tweets. You can follow me and my comic book show, Short Box Summary, at Purplebird616. Got a new episode coming out this week. Really exciting stuff. Hung out with the people from Last Comic Shop, and we talked about Wolverine, Enemy of the State. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., the second part of the story, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So look forward to that. We just talk about weird Logan Carnage as he tears a hole through the Marvel Universe. And Fabio, do you want people to follow you?
Yeah, you find me. I just started up TikTok. Find me on TikTok at Ophidian Ritual with an E at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ritual with an E right now.
Yeah.
I remember being really confused because I know your PSN profile name, and then you and I started playing Call of Duty together, and I was like, "Oh man, who's this punk? He's so good." Oh, it's a dork. And then I'm just like, "Oh, that's my buddy Fabio. Oh, Ophidian Rituale."
Yeah, I just post like game clips with music that I like, and it's fun to just edit them. So I just been posting them.
Fabio is really good at Call of Duty.
I have fun.
I probably won't win a Call of Duty match if I'm like the best player on the team, but if I'm the second best player on the team, I like our chances. And whenever I play with Fabio, he is always the best player on our team. It is.
Let's get on Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2.
Is there going to be like a zombies mode, or is this supposed to be like authentic to the original?
This is going to be like a continuation of Modern Warfare 2019. So
oh man, that game was great.
I'm hoping that Raven doesn't get involved and start putting all their weird stuff in it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it's truly impressive. Like I'm excited for you to be able to.
So are they going to start like redoing Black Ops next? Do you think?
I don't think so because they're taking a break next year from any mainline series, and they're going to be using like between Modern Warfare 2, they have a new mode coming out called DMZ plus Warzone 2. Like they're just going to be expanding this live service for a couple years, which I think is a great call. So I'm excited. I think it's going to make it a little more streamlined on like with one storyline without having to go to World War II scopes on MP40s. So I'm excited for like that. And
Vanguard had its moments. Okay.
It had its moments. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for like one team to own it, and like Infinity War is my favorite.
You don't like a 6x zoom on your Luger with like an extended 32 round clip?
Oh my god, dude! They've like added so many stupid things. Like instead of it being a 5 attachment gun, it's like a 10 attachment gun. For you have to equip, or you can equip one option for every single type of attachment. And then on top of that, they got fire bullets. They got all kinds of weird stuff. Long bullets, just lengthened. That's the kind of bullet you get, lengthened. I don't understand what they did. It's horrible. I don't want to talk about it.
All right. Well, if you want to see Call of Duty clips that make sense, check out Ophidian Ritual on TikTok. Fabio, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to Frameskip, and we will be back in your ears next week.
Bye.